Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Minutes after 9 o'clock, beautiful Tuesday, and it's time for In the Garden with Carol Ann. Carol Ann Baldwin is here to answer your gardening questions. Remember, this is a full-hour show, and you are invited to call. The number is 622-9622. If you've got something going on in your yard, or maybe you've got a person on your gift-giving list that is a gardener, maybe some ideas from Carol Ann would help you out a little bit. So just thought I'd mention that. Good morning, Carol Ann. How you doing?
Good morning. Real good, real good.
Nice day, huh?
It's a beautiful day.
What happened? We had that Warhol winter's done now? We're back to summer?
That was fall. I mean, this is still fall.
So it feels like summer now.
Nah.
No?
Not that, no. It's dark, too many hours of
It does get dark, yeah.
Yeah, don't like it. Not a fan.
You're not a fan of the time change thing?
I'm not... I mean, at least it'll be brighter when I get to work or after I get to work, but it's still the end of the day comes so early now.
Yeah.
It's like, which it would have on the other times too. But
the thing is that the majority of your Florida voters agree with you.
Yeah.
But of course, Congress said, nah, I don't think so.
I don't think, right. It's up to us to decide, to allow you to have what you asked for. So
how's your garden going?
I picked some green beans this morning. So I'll have a nice...
How long did it take from the time you planted them till the time you harvest them?
I'd have to read the back of the envelope of the beans.
Did you start them from seeds?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you just poke them in the ground. And because green beans are big enough seeds, you could just poke in the ground and a nice straight line. And
so how about?
I don't know, 2 months.
That's it, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Something like that. It was probably, let's see, this is first part of November, October, September, sometime in September I did them. So got my first picking of them. Nice batch of green beans.
And they green beans? So what are they called in the grocery? What would green
beans?
Just green beans.
Green beans, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just string beans, string beans.
I bet you they taste good when you grow them yourself.
Oh yeah, they're fresher. They're just because I'll take them home and I can cook them today. I mean, they were picked this morning. And so it's a lot fresher.
Is that different than string beans? That's
string beans are similar, but string beans actually, if you go to break a string bean, it will actually have the string, and that it gets caught in your teeth. And So these are green beans. They're stringless. I don't think there's too many string beans out there anymore. I think the strings are being bred out of it because it's more palatable and
So what is underneath the dried onions on Thanksgiving? What is that casserole? What does that mean?
Oh, green bean casserole?
Oh, that is green beans.
That's green beans.
Oh, I thought it was string beans.
String beans and green beans, same basic difference.
Oh, it is the same thing.
Basically.
That's what I'm confused. I'm always confused by this
it's
stuff.
basically the same thing. It's just the string bean has that string down the side of. I should have brought some green beans in. The pod there, and it's like I said,
like a zipper.
And as you're snapping them or do it, that comes off, and you have to deal with that. And
did you ever see the green beans at the Chinese buffet?
I don't usually do buffets.
They're really good.
Yeah. Are they?
They're really good. Yeah, I think they've got like melted butter all over them.
Probably,
but they're really good.
And a seasoned butter sauce. Yeah. Which is always yummy. But.
So let's see. We are a week and a few days away from Light Up Ocala.
Right.
And then I think 2 weeks.
We're just off 2 weeks from this Thursday.
2 weeks and 2 days for Thanksgiving.
It's like crazy. Yeah, I saw my work schedule and I'm saying, God, I think my boss messed up my schedule. It's like, or that, or he's out of town, and so he's not making it, and this one just printed out of their system, and another manager goes, that's Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving seems early this year, and that's because the month started on a Monday.
Ah, okay. So is it early?
The 22nd would probably
it's
be
not too early.
Almost the earliest it could be. I think, on that, because it's always the fourth Thursday of the month. So even if the month started on a Sunday, you're still later days wise in the month.
And looks like you have a phone call coming in. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yeah, hi guys.
Good morning.
Hey, speaking of November, I don't know if I goofed up or not, but I've got a long line of bushes in my backyard on an acre lot, and I believe they're called viburnum.
Viburnum, yeah.
Bush.
Yeah.
Is it too late to trim those, make them look real nice for the rest of the winter, or will I be aggravating them and starting to create a growth problem?
You're going to aggravate them and cause a growth problem. It's not. We have not had a dormant time right now, so. And even if we did, then they would just be ugly, possibly, because if you're pruning enough off, then you got some dead stems that have to, or bare stems that need to regrow. And usually, if you're going to do some pruning on your evergreen shrubs, I would wait until probably January at least, till they've actually had a time to go dormant, to where we've had some frosts, where we've had some cold temperatures that send them into that dormancy, so that they're not going to try to grow. Because you figure if you prune, that plant says, oh, guess what? It's time for me to grow. And 6 weeks later, you're going to be putting on some growth. And for us, that's coming right into the coldest time of year. For us, usually 6 weeks from now is first part of December. You start getting new growth on, and we get a frost. That new growth, even though they're hardy shrubs, can be damaged by the cold.
It'd possibly kill them, huh?
Yeah, well, not kill it wouldn't kill the shrub, but it might burn that new growth, defeating the purpose of trimming them.
Yeah, is this true for? I've got other kind of bushes around my house that aren't those kind. Would that be the same situation?
Yeah.
Just leave them alone until spring
just leave them.
January?
Just leave them alone till midwinter, that very early spring kind of thing. Now, if there's a sprout sticking up, 2 feet over top of everything else, yes, go in there and prune that out. But other than that, I would just leave everything alone, because we had a little bit of cool weather, and now we're 80-something degrees this afternoon. So, it's going to try to grow when you do that.
I'm going to make a mental note now. Like next year, what would be the latest time you would say would be safe to trim those bushes back?
I would say like September. Mid-September to the 1st of October, and that way whatever comes back on should have a chance to harden off. But usually we want to do anything like that. Same thing with all the fertilization. You want to finish that by the end of September. We should, I have people coming in wanting weed and feed for their lawns, and it's like, you're too late. But they're going to do it anyway, because people will do what they want.
I had my lawn service trim them back. It was probably early or middle September, thinking that would be it. But because of the lack of cold weather and the warm weather, they're sprouted and they look kind of wild back there.
Well, like I said, a little bit of light pruning on stuff isn't really going to hurt anything. But that's they may have only pruned just a small. And again, it encouraged growth. So if you're pruning them now and looking at 6 weeks, because September to end of October was about 6 weeks. I guess end of September, 1st of October is usually like that finish up, and you just kind of have to deal with it. I mean, nature doesn't prune. Nature doesn't prune things into nice hedges and neat neat shapes.
Yeah, and you remember? Have we ever gone through a winter down here that we never had a hard freeze? Oh,
yeah. Not having a hard freeze. Well, we've had some winters very mild winters where we just had frost here and there. and things really had stayed real green. Plants bloomed at strange times. The hard freeze is something none of us look forward to. The frost and things like that do put plants into somewhat of that semi-dormancy that we have, and so long as we get enough hours below 40 degrees, you get your fruit, your flowering for your fruit trees and things like that. But sometimes we get that very early on, and next thing you know, you've got things blooming in January that you don't want to bloom until March.
Right.
Because we get it early.
What temperature would be considered a hard freeze at?
Hard freeze is temperatures below 32 or below 28 degrees for over 4 hours.
Yeah.
And
I know since I've lived in Florida here, I've got a couple of thermometers outside, and I had the coldest. I've had a 17 and a 19 a few years ago, so it can get cold here in Florida.
Oh, it can. And last year we had those back-to-back hard freezes. I believe they were only about a week apart, and they were at least three nights in a row did it drop down below 28 degrees for more than 4 hours. It was like it was like 6 hours or more. And for some people, it was that second freeze is what did in. That second week is what did things in. The first week did some damage. That second week really hit things. And especially because I think some of us, and even I had some damage, didn't expect it to get as cold as it did on at least one of those nights.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. What I'll do in the back there, I've got on my bush lane, I've got a couple of sprouts that went real high. I'll just snip those off.
Just cut those. Just cut those ones
January.
out. Yeah. Yep. That's the best way. All right.
Okay, thank you, dear. Yeah,
You're welcome. Bye bye.
All right, good conversation. If you'd like to also call in, you're welcome and invited to do that. The number is 622-9622. You get this all the time, though, right?
Yeah.
It's part of your life, talking about gardens.
Yeah. That's what I do. It's it's who I am. But no, thinking here we are. We're into November already. Hopefully, everybody's poinsettias and Christmas cactuses have been, tucked somewhere where they've not been in too much, nighttime. Words are hard. Nighttime light, and of course with the earlier getting dark, that may even help some people. So long as you're not turning that porch light on if they're sitting out on a porch and things like that, or the lights on in the living room and you don't have a blind that's blocking that outside, or you're not sitting in that sitting room with the lights on where that plant is sitting. That way your Christmas cactus will actually set their buds in that.
So I have an election day garden thing to tell you. Okay. Because today is election day, some cities are complaining, residents of cities are complaining that their elected officials are not doing enough to make their cities green. Cities like New York have done a really good job of making little area, like community farms, community gardens and stuff like that. And other cities like Detroit, for example, are wanting their officials to come on, give us an opportunity.
Right.
So what the average person is doing to fight back, and I think we had a story like this. This ringing a bell for me. They're making seed bombs.
Okay. Oh, and
they toss them into open fields that are fenced in,
and things.
And those seed bombs have, I guess, flowers in them, and even vegetables
usually
in them.
wildflowers. If it's a seed bomb, it's probably wildflowers more than anything.
So what would you make the bomb part, the container out of?
Probably shredded newspaper, something like a flour paste in order to hold that together so that you could throw, and it would break down. Maybe some mud or some compost, some like black cow or something like that, where here
just
when it
throwing
breaks
it
up,
over the
it's
fence.
just chucking it. And it'll break down and
that's a cool idea.
But usually, if you're doing something like that now, it wouldn't be blooming till spring usually or summer. And the same thing because you figure some of those
even in Florida.
If you put the stuff out now, it's not going to bloom until the following year.
I think Ocala has done a good job, though.
I think Ocala's done. I mean, we've been a Tree City, USA.
Yeah.
We have one of at least 1 year, maybe 2 years. Some of the Green City kind of things where it was the downtown area bringing more greenery in when the baskets and the big planter bowls out on the sidewalks and in front of businesses. I can't remember the name of that competition. It's not. I was thought the more I talked about it, I'd remember it.
Yeah.
I know Suzanne at one time was a big part of that.
It does make a difference. It does make
and it does. I mean, it feels a little more homey.
Yeah.
I mean, Ocala's a pretty good size. I mean, city of Ocala is not huge, but they're trying to make an impact. And even I believe there was a news article the other day on trying to do some stuff on the west side of the city of Ocala on trying to continue a revitalization and things like that. Not just tearing things down, but trying to rebuild and build up our communities. Marion County's huge, and a lot of the smaller places in Marion County have done some good stuff on, the trees that are in front of city halls and things like that, or the flower beds, the school gardens that are around, teaching children on that, on how to, how to garden and where stuff comes from.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I wonder if you're breaking any laws by doing that, though.
Possibly. It's possible because I mean, if you're throwing something, it's generally would almost be considered littering. Even though it might be considered littering.
Especially if there was newspaper in the mix.
Right, but the newspaper breaks down and is something you can add to compost piles.
Interesting how we as people decide enough is enough, isn't it?
It is,
It's funny, yeah. All right, we do have another phone call.
Great.
Good morning, you're on the air with Carol Ann.
Hey, this is Denton. I'm from New York State.
Yeah.
Can we grow any vegetables during the wintertime down here?
Oh, yeah. Lots of different vegetables, yeah. Because like I said, I just harvested some green beans I planted in September. But you've got all your cabbage family, your broccoli, your cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, Swiss chard, the lettuce, onions, carrots, potatoes. Tomatoes not so much in the winter. They would have better been planted out in the garden in September as a transplant. You could have started them in, say, August and got them in the garden, and you'd been harvesting now. I do know a lot of people who like to put them in pots, and that way they can carry them in and out if it's going to get too cold for them. But days are short this time of year, so they're a little slower to try to do anything. You might, if you're into doing seeds and things like that, go into the seed catalogs and finding some of those seeds that are for potatoes will start to go in the ground sometime December and January, and your onions will start to go in the ground. If you can find the already started ones, I haven't seen them at the stores yet. They're going to be your short day onions. So if you're familiar with like Dixondale Farms out of Texas, they are onion growers that they're a major supplier, I think, for onion sets. You're looking for short day onions for Florida. Short day onions. Yeah, they're going to be your Vidalia type, your Gran X, your Grano, those ones they're nice onion, nice sweet onion. But they're that's what's going to grow for us. But go ahead.
When can I start a spring garden?
You can start your seed if you're doing your own tomatoes and peppers and things, probably sometime like the end of January, 1st of February, so that your transplants will be ready to go in the garden sometime after the 15th of March.
Yeah, I never had good luck with seeds.
Yeah.
So when can I, what kind of soil do I use? Do I have to a raised garden, or can I horse manure?
Horse manure could be weedy because
I can weed.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying that a lot of times that actually has a lot of grasses in horse manure. Yeah. If you can build a raised bed, all the better. Only because you can control the fertilization and the water better, because it doesn't go away. Whatever you amend it with, your manures, your compost, and things like that, stay put. But you can go right in the ground and add those same things.
In the sand we got right here?
Oh, yeah. You figure they grow tomatoes in huge fields down, all over the state.
Yeah, strawberries too.
Yeah.
When should I put in strawberries?
Strawberries are usually, or a lot of times, they're started in September, as little as the plants, and we're harvesting a lot of times around December. So you'll start to see the Plant City strawberries starting to come in to the stores and on the roadside stands, the farm markets, starting usually around the first part of December.
So then I can put them in the ground the first part of December?
No, I would put them in the ground now if you can get a hold of them.
Now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, strawberries, the plant doesn't mind the cold. The flowers and the fruit is what has a problem with the cold.
Yeah.
So if we freeze, you lose that fruit. 30 days later, you've got more fruit on it.
Wait, is there 2 seasons for strawberries up here?
No, usually just the one.
No,
just the one.
That's up north.
Yeah,
okay.
And it's ours.
Thank
The Florida strawberries are the first ones usually found on the markets. For the year.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye. Bye.
Right, and how long does it take from the time he plants them to the time?
Time of plant, it still is going to probably take about 90 days before you start to get your first flowers and fruit.
Okay.
But after that, once they start to bear, they'll bear consistently. If we happen to have a frost that damages the flowers or anything, it might take you another 30 days to get more for it to reflower again.
And the timing of the strawberry festival, that's usually in March, right?
Right. Is sometime during the main, there's most of the strawberries coming in at that time, plus other sources of strawberries.
So it's really a winter kind of a
for
plant.
us, it is more of a winter crop, cooler. And then, of course, you start to get the other ones, and I think right now they're probably much of them. I know there's strawberries out in the stores, and I think they're from California, and they might even be hothouse strawberries.
So so in a controlled environment like a hothouse,
you could
do them anytime.
Right, you could almost do them anytime because you would. For Florida, you'd be looking actually to cool that house.
You want it cool.
You would want it a little cooler, right? At least for us.
Interesting.
Which they do make greenhouses that have cold walls.
We have about 3 minutes before the break. Did Robin give you some giveaways?
She did. We have our Bob wines, but those I think we'll do
later.
Maybe later. But right now we have one pair of tickets to Friday, November 16th's concert of John Tesh.
Oh, nice.
John Tesh's concert. It's going to be at the Sharon L. Morris Performing Arts Center in the Villages. This is located at Spanish Springs Town Square. And his website, the John Tesh website, is www.tesh.com. But we have one set of tickets for the 5 p.m. concert. So not the 8. That there is two different concerts, but the 5 o'clock one is the one that we have. So I guess at the bottom of the hour we'll pick a random caller.
Just call in
for this set of tickets.
Okay, and do we know what they're valued at? Do we have?
No, we don't.
Okay,
but yeah.
So 2 tickets to see John Tesh live in the Villages, at the Sharon,
which is at Spanish Springs Town Square.
Okay. Then what you'll need to do is call during the break, which we still got about 2 minutes before we get to it. And if during the break I answer the phone, then you will win.
And you become the winner.
If you're still ringing and we're back from the break, that means I picked somebody else.
Sorry.
And it's completely at random.
Exactly. And that's going to be it. It's going to be and we only have one pair of tickets, and that is Friday the 16th, so it's a week from this Friday.
So we spoke to him, We're speaking to him later today. He's coming on later on. But anyway, we spoke to him, and we promised him we would bring him a jaw harp. And he kept calling it a Jew's harp. And I said, that is so politically incorrect.
Right.
It's a jaw harp.
Right.
You play it with your jaw.
Right. It's a jaw,
There's nothing Jewish about it.
No, I think it's just a pronunciation thing. It's probably JAWS, and it just comes out. Yep.
Yeah, so we're going to bring him one. In fact, I thought we'd bring him a bunch so this whole orchestra could play them.
Okay. I wonder, are they in different keys like harmonicas are?
I don't think so.
No, they're just in one.
I think they're just boing, 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 boing.
Kind of weird thing.
We're going to do that.
But so cool. So we'll have a winner during the break.
If we go to a show and bring a bunch of flowers, I see that at shows all the time. People will bring flowers to somebody on the stage. And
no, not me.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. I see that when Rob and I go to the Civic Theater, the Ocala Civic Theater.
Right.
Every once in a while, somebody in the audience will have a bunch of flowers, and at the end of the show, then they give it to somebody.
And it could be just thank you for a wonderful performance, or somebody that they know maybe. But
that's
that's always a nice thing.
All right, if you would like to win the 2 tickets to see John Tesh, it's going to be a week from Friday.
The 5 p.m. show.
Okay. You'll need to call during the break, which is coming up. 622-9622. If I answer the phone, then that means you won. If I don't answer the phone, then you didn't win.
Right.
Deal?
We'll need your name and probably your phone number.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, it's a will call thing.
Yeah.
So we don't really have tickets here. We'll just let
need your
them
name,
know that you're...
So we need your name and your phone number, and don't worry, you'll be off the air.
Yes, you will be off the air. Okay, we'll be right back with Carol Ann. More In the Garden with Carol Ann after the break. If you want to win, again, you have to call during the break at 622-9622. We will be right back.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. The polls just opened in Arkansas. Voters in 37 states are now voting this election day. Democrats need to flip 23 seats to take control of the House of Representatives and the Senate.
Republicans hoping to expand their majority by picking off vulnerable Democrats in red states like in Indiana, West Virginia, and Nevada. Of the 26 Democratic senators up for re-election, President Trump won 10 of their states. Democrats need to win a net 2 seats to take control. Over in the House, there are more than 70 competitive races.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland in D.C. The man accused of sending mail bombs to critics of President Trump's back in court today after being moved to face federal charges.
Cesar Sayoc is expected to make his first court appearance in New York, transferred from Florida where he was arrested a week ago. Prosecutors say they'll ask for him to be held without bail because he is considered dangerous. None of the devices exploded.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers in New York City. This is Fox News.
For professional staffing, there's only one name you need to know: Robert Half. Robert Half custom matches our candidates to your specific hiring requirements by combining personalized service from local staffing experts with an advanced matching technology based on 70 years of successful placements. For highly skilled accounting, finance, IT, legal, marketing, or administrative staffing, count on Robert Half. We'll find you productive, engaged employees. Learn more at roberthalf.com/radio.
Pros in the know start with Lowe's, because at Lowe's, pros can save big on trusted tools with early access to Pro Black Friday deals. Right now, you can save up to 30% on select tools during Irwin and Lennox Tool Days. Get great deals on an Irwin 2-pack Groove Lock plier set, now just $14.98. Or keep your saw in top shape with a Lennox 12-piece Power Blast reciprocating saw blade set, only $26.98. So, Pro, now that you know, start with Lowe's. Offer valid through 11/14. Selection varies by location, U.S. only.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. Today is Election Day. Polls in Marion County will be open until 7 p.m. Marion County has 243,088 registered voters. The Ocala City Council will consider a 20-foot panhandling boundary around business entrances and exits, bus stops, ATMs, public parking areas, public restrooms, and gas pumps. A 12-year-old Pembroke Pines girl has been charged with making a false report concerning use of a firearm after posting threatening messages on Snapchat. An ultra-marathon runner has finished a 5,400-mile run that began in Alaska and ended in Key West. The Walt Disney Company has once again launched its Share Your Ears campaign. The promotion will benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Share a photo of yourself wearing a pair of Mickey Mouse ears on social media with the hashtag #ShareYourEars. Now through November 17th, and Disney will donate $5 to Make-A-Wish. How fun is that? And that is your news brief from The Source.
I'm Keith Perry. Lots of people run for office and tell you how great they are. They talk at you or down to you. That's not me. I'm a roofer by trade, and as a young man started my business with an ethic of fairness and hard work, and the common sense to get the job done right. That was 40 years ago. Now Perry Roofing employs more than 100 people I'm proud to know and work with. I'm Keith Perry. I've got the common sense and determination to make Tallahassee work for you.
Paid for by Keith Perry, Republican, for Florida Senate.
I'm Jan Marino, and it's my great honor to represent Palm Garden as the winner of the Best of the Best contest for rehab 2 years running. Woohoo! It's not easy to meet the needs of our guests, learn their life stories, and exceed expectations, but that's our goal every single day with everyone that we are blessed to serve. Thank you, WOCA listeners. Please come for a visit anytime. Palm Garden is located on the corner of Southwest 27th Avenue and 34th Street.
The Vanguard Knights finished the regular season a perfect 10-0 after a 49-14 win against Oakley.
Rucker calls for the snap. He drops back. He looks. He's going to keep it. Nope. Now he stops. Pops. And it's touchdown! Knights! Leonard Manuel with a touchdown to take the lead. What a catch. What a throw. What a great effort by Rucker.
WOCA High School Football Game of the Week is presented by Fuquay Sawmill, serving Ocala and Central Florida for 3 generations since 1938. Fuquay Sawmill for all of your hardwood needs. It's playoff time, and WOCA will broadcast every game the Knights play as they enter the postseason as the top-ranked team in Class 6A Region 1. On Friday night, Vanguard will host the Sebring Blue Streaks at Booster Stadium. Pre-game starts at 7, so join me, Galen Unold, and Pat McBride as we bring you all the action live right here on WOCA, The Source.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock, that ticket to those tickets to the John Tesh, by the way, really popular. So I know a lot of you are disappointed you didn't win, but we do have a winner, Susan.
Right. And I guess, you can always call over to the Sharon L. Morse, find out how much ticket prices are, that there are apparently several different seating areas to, available, so different price ranges. So, I mean, you can get tickets, you can go to the show.
And by the way, John Tesh will be on with us at 11:05, so we'll just tell him he didn't send us enough freebies.
That's it.
Didn't send us enough.
Well, that's all right.
All right. So if you want to call, the number is still the same, 622-9622. This is an opportunity for you to ask Carol Ann a question about your lawn, your garden, the plant that you're buying as a Christmas gift, or a Thanksgiving centerpiece or something. Like that.
All kinds of different things. And nowadays, right now, all the amaryllis, the little boxed amaryllis, they always come in so early. Excuse me. And next thing you know, you see them in the stores and they're sprouting. And it's like, come on, because they've cooled them, they chilled them in order to be able, no, I think that's probably you, to force them for them to be able to bloom for you. So, but if you're buying them as a gift and it's already sprouting, it's a little tough. So it's moreover that you're buying it for yourself, I think, or realizing or taking it to your friend, going, guess what? It's already starting to grow. Get it in a dish and enjoy it. Because usually those amaryllis, when you get them, you take them out of the box. And what's real pretty is you can actually use, say, a glass, say a candy dish, and use the glass beads, the glass marbles, and just tuck that in there, just part way down, just enough to hold it up. Fill that thing with water, and what's it take? I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months, and boom, it's flowering. And you can enjoy that flower while it's going this time, right now. And then in spring, you can put it out in the garden, and next year it'll come up on its own and bloom for you. Yeah, so it's a great gift.
By the way, so this is sort of political in nature, and not in the true sense of politics, but anyway, it might rub somebody the wrong way. The Darwin chart, which shows the monkeys becoming the apes.
Right.
Okay, and then humans are like the absolute top of the chain.
Right.
Okay, what is the absolute top of the plant chain? Like, what is the most advanced? Is it like the redwood tree, or would it be like, what's the smartest plant we have?
I don't know. I mean, there's some that you might say that the parasitic type plants might be the smartest because that they're just using a host for all of its nutrition. Or, I mean, there's some weeds. I watched a thing, and I think we talked about it one time on I don't know, Nova or something on PBS, where, and I think it's the dodder, DODDER, dodder weed, which we have here, dodder vine, which is parasitic. And
it's
well, what it is it will, when you see it, and they had it on a time lapse, that it was searching for something to
hang on to?
Hold on. Not just blowing in a breeze, but it was actually reaching. You could
see it with your eye, or was time lapse?
I'm trying to remember now if it was if they had it as both.
Because
you could see it in a way to see, but that it was reaching till it finally grabbed something and grabbed hold. And would.
Do you remember that plant that Frank brought in, and we had it outside the door here for a long time?
Oh, yeah, the air potato.
Was that what that was?
I'm pretty sure.
And it was doing that. It was looking for something to grab onto.
But to go up.
So that's the smartest. Yeah. So I wonder if you could draw a chart that showed that's the top of the line, and before that was.
I don't know, because I don't know of any place. I mean, you figure that we have messed with genetics to outsmart disease and increase fruiting size, and nature has done it itself, the survival of the fittest. Which plant survives, by putting out more seed to outcompete something else, or even just selective, not necessarily messing with it in a lab, not GMO, but even the farmer has selected the best tomato plant, the one that did him the best crop, as next year's seed. So it's a selection on that. So whether or not you're making creating a better, but whether or not, I don't think you can have
by the way,
like the Darwin type thing.
We accidentally stumbled on an amazing dessert.
Oh, yeah.
Robin had these cut-up watermelons, and I guess the refrigerator is set to too cold.
Okay, so
they were all frozen.
Oh
my gosh, they're good.
Yeah.
Frozen
watermelon, just don't let it melt.
Frozen watermelon slices, yeah. Oh, it's like eating ice, like an icicle.
Like a popsicle, yeah.
It's good stuff.
Because I like frozen grapes, but sometimes they're hard to bite.
That would work too.
Yeah, frozen grapes are good. Yeah, but they are one of those things you get it in your mouth and it's cold.
That's what we should do at Light Up Ocala. People always have food. You're not supposed to sell food if you're not a food vendor.
Right.
So we could just give away frozen slices of.
But you got to keep them frozen because once they melt, there's.
Well, we have to have dry ice. Dry ice would do it, right?
I guess. I suppose.
I bet it would be a big hit.
It would. Well, if Light Up Ocala is hot. We've had some Light Up Ocalas that were darn cold.
I think it would work even if it was cold. Well, don't you remember when you lived in Jersey? You'd go to Carvel or something on a very cold day.
I went to Dairy Queen every single day after school.
Even if it was freezing out, right? Yeah,
yes,
sure.
And get an icy every single day.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why. It was just a sugar rush every day. But I guess, but maybe so.
It's good stuff, right? Yeah.
But no, going back to the previous caller who was asking, can we garden here in the wintertime? We do have, and I always say we have like 3 seasons because it's the hardest time to garden for us, or vegetable garden, and even trying to get out in the garden, is like that August and September. It's hot, it's wet. Generally too wet and too hot to try to get out there, except for really early in the morning. And there's only a few things in the vegetable garden that really will thrive during those times of year, like your eggplant. Some of the peppers will struggle through, but they'll survive. Black-eyed peas, your southern peas. But here at this time of year, though we're rather warm, I've not put in any cabbage yet. I need to, and that I have started carrots. I've had some radishes already, started some more. I picked a few of those today too. I put in some peas. I like the stir fry peas. Those are the ones I did versus the sugar snap peas.
Yeah.
And on the envelope, I'm probably a little late, but I think the temperatures, we're okay, or at least I hope I will be. We'll see. Whether or not, hopefully I don't.
I wonder what it will say.
Frost.
I mean, did you had an almanac last week?
Yeah, I forgot my laptop today.
Is it is it accurate? I mean, does it say we're going to have colder than usual or not?
I have to double check. I'll have to remember it next week. For some reason I went out the door without the laptop this morning.
Does it typically get it right? No, not really, huh?
It's hard to say because it gives you the whole state of Florida. And we range from L.A., Lower Alabama, down to Cuba, down to Key West. So we have tropical, subtropical, and almost temperate once you get up into the panhandle and stuff. Right. So our gardening span is so different, unlike say the state of New Jersey, where it's a small state where you might have a coastal issue where you're dealing with salt airs, and then your inland areas, but temperature-wise, not a whole big variance, but for us it's quite different. If you were like being a master gardener here in Central Florida, you're okay going from most of the counties that surround us. You're not going to have to take the class again. But if you were to move down into Miami,
you need it all over
you would have to take at least the portion.
They do look different too. The plants.
They do. Yeah. And actually, it was funny when my eldest niece was probably about 5 or 6. They were coming up for a visit, and she asked my mom, she goes, Grandma, are we still in Florida?
Oh, wow.
Because
really?
the trees
so
were
different.
that different, because she was from, down in the Boynton Beach, Lake Worth area, and so much very tropical, where they use hibiscus as hedge in front of the house and ixora the same way. Here we use them as accent plants or a nice shrub here and there because we get cold damage to those. But even the pine trees and the oak trees that we have and the other deciduous trees, they don't have those down there.
That's a pretty cool question. And it's kind of similar from us compared to the Panhandle.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, where the Panhandlers live.
Right. The Panhandle's at, Panhandle. No, they don't. That's lower Alabama.
That's good. That's good.
But,
so if somebody in the Panhandle comes down to
I was just going to
Ocala,
say, just driving from Ocala going up to the Panhandle, you start to see, Ocala National Forest is planted in pines, but when you start going up 27 and what is that, 98 or whichever, depending on which way you go, there's a lot of pines.
The Ocala National Forest that's natural pine, though. We didn't plant them, did we?
A lot of it is planted in pines now.
Really?
I don't know how much of it started out natural and then just progressively became more pines.
Because we've had this discussion before. If you go to the Silver Springs State Park,
right.
If you go to the side that used to be called the Silver River State Park and compare the trees there to the side that is the tourist attraction part, or the former tourist attraction, there's a lot of palm trees in the tourist attraction part and hardly any in the other half.
The other side,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And I guess they probably were the sandhill, the pine area, more of the forest, and like you say, the attraction things were planted in there more of.
Now the other palm is plentiful, the one that just hugs the ground, but the one that looks like these tall things, they're not over there.
These are the sable palm. These are the state palm. Also, the one South Carolina's on their flag actually.
Now, what is the one called that stays close to the ground?
It's scrub palmetto.
Okay.
The palmetto, it's green, and there's green variety and a silver variety, and those are a native scrub, kind of like you say, little shrubby palm that you'll see. Even people will plant them around the big, the taller ones to give that tropical kind of look to it.
And then there's the sago palm.
Then there's the sago, which is not a true palm. That's a cycad, which can have some serious issues with scale and things like that.
And then there's that other one that's like a bayonet or something. That's
Spanish bayonet. That
really will hurt you if you back into it.
That's an agave in the agave family. Same way with the ones with the big wavy leaves, the century plants. That will bloom. That'll suddenly, they'll have great big wide leaves. Sometimes they're green and white or green and cream, and that and unless you're watching on Facebook,
is that the one we
YouTube,
call elephant ears?
No. Elephant ears has the great big arrowhead shaped leaves, but no, the agaves have big, wide, thick.
Almost like a banana plant.
No, they come down and they'll touch the ground. But when they decide to bloom, they get the name century plant because they bloom once in a century.
That one.
It shoots up this 40-foot tall bloom, and then the plant dies. But
it does? After that happens?
After it blooms, that plant dies. There's smaller ones coming in underneath there that
it's like
will
the male
take
praying
its
mantis
place.
after he has sex, right? He's dead.
No, she eats his head off. He
dies, right?
Yeah, he does, but not on his own fruition. I'm sure he didn't plan that. But
imagine that.
The century plant.
I guess I'd have to imagine, not you. I can't imagine you eating my head off.
Bite your head off. But oh God, save us all. But no, the big, but and those you actually have to watch out around if you're pruning them. Is that the sap in those can be pretty nasty.
In what?
The sap in the agaves and stuff like that can be pretty nasty.
Nasty
actually,
meaning it'll give you a rash.
It'll rash or burn. Yeah, burn type thing. But the blue agave is what they make tequila out of.
Oh. And where does that grow?
A lot in New Mexico, Texas, I think Arizona, New Mexico.
What's with the worm, by the way? Why is there a worm in that?
I don't know.
Is that the right thing?
That's the right. That's the
worm in it, right?
The worm in it, and you're supposed to drink the worm. It's supposed to be, I don't know, hallucinogenic or something. You're not going to catch me drinking the worm. Sorry. No. But
they said that the Nightmare Burger at Burger King will give you nightmares too.
Oh, really?
So
Is it just an indigestion?
I'll have
kind
to
of
ask
thing?
Doug because he had one on Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
They call it a Nightmare Burger?
Yeah.
So just for Halloween?
It was for Halloween. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was a green bun.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Yuck, yeah. That should be, saved for St. Patty's Day or something. Yeah, the green bun just kind of would make me go, oh, really? Is it fuzzy? Yeah.
There is something weird about coloring food. Mm-hmm. Because remember when they had the green ketchup?
Yes,
fad?
and I think there's still purple ketchup out there or something.
Is there really?
That. Yeah.
But green just didn't take off at all.
No, that was just a little freaky. But also, and I have had this issue because I won't buy yellow watermelons. We did accidentally buy a yellow watermelon.
Yellow on the inside?
Yeah, yellow on the inside, yes.
Really?
That's supposed to be the color of it.
Taste the same? Oh, it's supposed to be yellow?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It tastes exactly the same, but I have to close my eyes to eat it.
So how did they become red? How did that happen?
Red. I think red watermelons are the natural. The yellow is something that's done.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know that they genetically changed them.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, because the red is the great lycopene and all that stuff. I don't know if they were making yellow for vitamin A or whatever in there, the beta carotene. But it was very strange. We did not know it was a yellow watermelon when we bought it.
Oh, no.
We get it, put it in the cooler. We go to the beach. We got the whole family. There's everybody there. We cut this watermelon open and go,
what the heck is that?
And it was, okay, it's ripe. Yeah, it tastes good, but psychologically, it's like drinking water out of your coffee cup.
So nobody knew?
No, you can't tell from the outside.
Oh, wow.
So, and then, and there are yellow tomatoes. And I don't grow yellow tomatoes because I don't think I could look at my sandwich.
They taste the same, though,
They
right?
taste the same. I think the yellow has a lower acidity.
But no, yellow apple has a different taste. And I like yellow apples.
Yellow apples?
Yeah.
The green apples, you mean?
No, the yellow ones, the golden apples.
Golden Delicious?
Yeah.
They're kind of green. I guess they're yellow.
No, they're yellow.
Are they? So I like green.
You've never seen the yellow apple?
I don't know. I have red ones at the house right now. Finally found some small
I actually
apples.
haven't seen them in a long time, but when I was a kid, I would grab them when I'm...
And it probably was the Golden Delicious. I guess they are more on the yellow side than the green. See, I like the Granny Smith, the green apples. They're nice and crisp and tart.
Gosh, they're a little sour.
I like the sour. So, so your apples, and they're bred for those reasons, is, some apples are better for pies. Some apples are much better for crisp, fresh eating. And, of course, this is apple season in the stores here in the fall. Then I think the harvest actually happened last year, and we're eating last year's apples.
I heard about pears. Mm-hmm. Somebody was saying, I don't like to eat pears because they fool you. You might have a delicious pear, and then you go for a second one, and it'll be hard as a rock. They're very unpredictable.
Unpredictable.
Is that true?
I never noticed that.
I don't think I ever have either.
No. But I guess maybe
they're
when
gritty,
because you're eating them like an apple as something, you're not waiting for them to soften too much. I mean, a pear a little bit, but I guess sometimes even if it's soft, it's not. Or the different varieties, unless you know your different varieties. And we never gave away these two tickets, the Bob Wine certificates.
Oh, you want to do that?
We need to.
Okay.
So, and we can.
So we'll take a mini break. If you would like, what is it?
We got 2 Bob Wine's $20 gift certificates for Bob Wine's.
So that means 2 winners, right?
2 winners, yep.
So each winner gets $20 for Bob Wine's.
Yep.
Camellia Gardens and Nursery will play a quick commercial and call 622-9622. If I answer the phone, that means you won, and we can have 2 winners today for this one. We'll be right back.
Please join Apostle Randy Brown along with Dr. Gail Brown in joyful praise every Sunday at 8:35 a.m. when they bring you the Bread of Life radio broadcast. Please tune to WOCA on 96.3 FM and 1370 AM, The Source. We look forward in sharing the Word with you this and every Sunday morning at 8:35 a.m.
buying and selling? Then you know about OcalaForSale.com, Marion County's internet marketplace. But there's something you might not know. I'm Michael Warren, president of USA for Sale. We created Ocala for Sale in 1998 with a passion to connect buyers and sellers and to help local businesses reach shoppers online. On Ocala for Sale, you're just a click away from thousands of deals for real estate, rentals, cars, furniture, appliances, horses, pets, and more. Looking for a job? Our Help Wanted section is booming. Shopping the villages and beyond? Now you'll find great deals on villages for sale, as well as our new statewide classified, Florida for Sale. Log on today and post your free classified. You'll reach thousands of shoppers who check our listings every day. Are you a business looking to get a corner on the internet marketplace? USA for Sale can help you reach your target audience in Ocala, the villages, and statewide. There's no better place to reach shoppers than right where they shop. Let us show you how. Learn more by calling 352-629-1663 or visit us online at usaforsale.com.
I'm Keith Perry. Lots of people run for office and tell you how great they are. They talk at you or down to you. That's not me. I'm a roofer by trade, and as a young man started my business with an ethic of fairness and hard work and the common sense to get the job done right. That was 40 years ago. Now Perry Roofing employs more than 100 people I'm proud to know and work with. I'm Keith Perry. I've got the common sense and determination to make Tallahassee work for you.
Paid for by Keith Perry, Republican for Florida Senate.
The City of Ocala Department of Recreation and Parks are proud to present the 35th Annual Light Up Ocala on November 17th. The fun starts on the square in downtown Ocala from 4 to 9 p.m. There will be food vendors, 4 stages of entertainment, Whoville, Themed Kids Zone, the downtown holiday skating rink, crafts, the Junior Sunshine Christmas Parade around the square, then at about 7:30 p.m., the official downtown lighting ceremony. See you at Light Up Ocala.
All right, can you believe that's a week from Saturday,
It's
right?
just, the year is slipping past us quickly. It's and we've got Thanksgiving coming up soon, and so there's stuff in your garden that if anybody grew sweet potatoes this year, you might be having your sweet potatoes in either in pie form or candied with marshmallows on top of them, or and when you buy the can of yams in the store, read the label. It'll probably tell you it's sweet potatoes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When we ship fruit up north, that's the wrong way to start the question. But do we still have places that do that?
Yeah, we do. We do. They
used to be all over.
They used to be all over the place. I think you've got to, because of the regulation now and the problems with the citrus industry and stuff, it has to go through, I think, a licensed shipper, meaning somebody who will follow the protocol that the Department of Agriculture has to make sure that nothing is being shipped out that might spread a insect or pest issue or disease issue
That's
elsewhere.
a nice thing to receive. If you're living up north and it's cold,
it used to be pretty
and
nice.
you get a package from Florida full of oranges, that's a good...
Yeah, see, now we can't just take... I don't believe you might be able to go to somebody like one of the... and I don't mean to plug any one over the other, like Reed's Groves used to be a shipper, and they were local, they had groves in Weirsdale. If you had your own fruit in your yard and you wanted to ship your Aunt Bertha up in New York some of your tangerines and navel oranges, whether or not you can take them to them and have them shipped, I don't know. But you can't you're not allowed to just ship them. If you take it down to the UPS place and they ask you, is there something perishable in here? You're supposed to fess up. You're not supposed to tell them it's a box of marbles.
Yeah, right.
That this is something, because we don't want to transfer pest or disease issues out of, in or out of the state. It's just one of those things that, that's, sometimes how these problems become, an issue. Ambrosia beetles, which means, we don't take our firewood from Florida up into Georgia while we're going to go camping. Wait till you get there and buy firewood there, kind of thing. If you're camping or, at a lodge, it's got firewood. Those kind of things. So, we don't ship plant material, across the country at all. One, it might not make it there in one piece, and those companies who can, they're licensed. It's U.S. Department of Agriculture inspected products and things like that.
They know how to do it.
They know how to ship it to where it's not going to be a problem.
Good idea.
And if you notice in some of your seed catalogs and stuff, it will say not available in Alaska and Hawaii, because either it won't thrive or it's something that they're not allowed to grow there. So, watch, and realize that's for all of our natural habitat areas.
Well, we are almost out of time. Let's see. Wow. So next week we'll see you, correct?
Yeah. And the week after.
Week after that, too?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks from today, it'll be the Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
So
wow.
we'll have our pre-Thanksgiving
show.
Yeah,
we'll have to have some pie here.
Or something like that.
Thank you, Carol Ann.
Thanks, Larry. Always fun.
Hey, do you have to work today?
No, I'm off. I have a doctor's appointment this afternoon. I need to go vote. And everybody get out and vote.
Thank you, Carol Ann.
Thank you, Larry.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. It's Election Day in America. Every House seat is up for grabs. 35 senators will be elected. Democrat Bob Menendez is trying to keep his seat.
We take no vote for granted. We take no New Jerseyan for granted.
The people of New Jersey deserve better.
Republican Bob Hugin's trying to take that seat away. There are races for governor in 36 states. 36 million Americans voted early this year. The body of a National Guard soldier killed in an insider attack in Afghanistan. Brett Taylor is back in the United States. He was mayor of North Ogden, Utah.
Taylor's widow, Jenny, met his casket when it arrived in Camden, Delaware.
It seems only fitting that Brent, who in death now represents so much more than anything, something so much greater than any of our own individual lives, has come home to U.S. soil in a flag-draped casket on our Election Day.
Taylor also leaves behind 7 children.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. This is Fox News.
Pros in the know start with Lowe's, because Lowe's has an offer for pros that puts more money toward their bottom line. For a limited time, ask for 10% off your in-store purchase when you use your Lowe's Business Credit Card. That's right. Save 10% on the supplies and tools you need to get the job done right. See the Pro Desk at Select Lowe's to get your discount and for more details. So, Pro, now that you know, start with Lowe's. Valid through 2/1 in select stores only. Subject to credit approval. Exclusions apply. Must request 10% off at time of purchase. Cannot be combined with any other credit-related offers. U.S. only.
This is a court-ordered notice. Current and former Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury owners or lessees can receive payments and other benefits from a legal settlement related to allegedly defective Takata airbags in their vehicles. To see if your vehicle is included and to file a claim, go to autoairbagsettlement.com or call 1-888-735-5596. That's autoairbagsettlement.com or 1-888-735-5596.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. Today is Election Day. Polls in Marion County will be open until 7 p.m. Marion